Hey Zen fam, so I've been having a wee think about some things that are of a controversial nature within gaming culture, as is, the want of this channel is a gaming culture channel after all. And there's a couple of things. One is a relatively newish issue and the other one is an oldish issue. But there are two controversial thoughts that I wish to go through with you, with of course your indulgence. And these thoughts have been doing the rounds for a bit. I just want to give you my perspective. So, I'm of the opinion that perhaps, maybe, Microsoft should be allowed to buy Activision Blizzard. Now I know what's going to happen here. All these people in the comment section and out there in the Zen fam will be going, but Zen dude, you're like a PlayStation guy. What's going on? Don't you want like Sony to have this stuff? I mean, do you really want it to go away from PlayStation? I mean, you're a PlayStation fan. Yeah, I'm a PlayStation fan, but I'm not a PlayStation fanboy. There is the critical difference. You see, I'm 48. I've been around the block, okay? I've seen ebbs and flows in the gaming industry for a large part of my life. I've seen some stuff, okay? And, quite frankly, fanboys are one of gaming's biggest problems because they're not able to look objectively at the art form that is gaming. And gaming is art, Admittedly, some games are less art than others, but hey, some paintings are less art than others, so we'll move past that quite swiftly, shall we? So, you're probably saying to yourselves, okay, you've stated that much, but why? Why, in the name of all that's holy in gaming, are you okay with the idea of Microsoft owning Activision Blizzard? Well, one, there's a lot of games from Activision Blizzard that I just won't play. One, because I'm not into a lot of their catalogue, and two, because Activision Blizzard themselves are not a great company. I mean, Bobby Kotick and, the suicides and the racial profiling and the treatment of female workers and yada yada yada. It's not a great situation, and I'm not about to let my money go towards that. And I believe them to be not a great influence on gaming and gaming culture. So, with that in mind, I really just also don't care about COD. It's never really been something that's been a thing to me, but COD is the driving force behind most of the debate. Fair? I'd say so. Whenever people talk about the Activision Blizzard deal, they're first and foremost saying all about Activision. No! Because I'll lose COD and then I won't be able to play COD with my friends and no. And I'm like, well, one, I made a video a wee while back saying COD's not God. Eventually it will be toppled. Somebody will come up with something bigger and something better. It's the way of things. Bruce Lee always said, there's always somebody better. There's always somebody that can kick faster, punch harder. There's always going to be someone who comes along and bests you. It's balance, it's nature, it's the universe. Okay? So, if Microsoft doesn't get to buy it, and let's face it, there are a couple of regulatory bodies around the globe that are actually not okay with the idea of it, and, to be fair, Jim Ryan has stuck his oar in, he's travelled around the globe going, don't let this happen, this is a travesty, and it's like, okay, so yeah, PlayStation does have its, 4 or 5 year exclusivity deal for Call of Duty on their platforms, which is all lovely jubbly, that's what they paid for, and by Jiminy they should get to keep it for that time at least, because that's what they paid for. However, Microsoft have rebuffed with going, look, we'll give you a 10-year deal that you'll still get Call of Duty on your platforms, after we own it, if indeed we're successful. And I think that's beyond reasonable, because as I've stated, nothing lasts forever, and eventually Call of Duty will fall out of favour. There will be something bigger and better and newer and fancier and more woohoo. So it also comes down to the fact that if Microsoft can't buy it, what's to stop them just going and buying, okay, we can't have Activision Blizzard, the whole thing, kit and caboodle. What's to stop them waiting that 4 or 5 years, going up to Activision Blizzard going, hey, see that Call of Duty? We'd like to buy that franchise alone off you. Just Call of Duty, nothing else. And we'll give you a substantially huge amount of money for it. And they'll go, aye, alright, because they'll get a gigantic payday, you know? And that'll be an end of it, and then there'll be no more Call of Duty for anybody else apart from Microsoft supported platforms such as Xbox and PC. Nobody else gets a look in. Do you want that world? No. Even if, like me, you're not really into Call of Duty, I still think that would suck because people wouldn't get to play it, and a lot of people really enjoy that game. You know, it's not my place to yuck your yum. I mean, I don't dig it, but if you dig it, pile on in there, brother or sister. Make your happy happen. So, you know, let's just say they don't decide to buy Call of Duty individually out of spite. You know, out of, well, we didn't get our way, so now we're gonna do this. Let's just say that didn't happen. Right, okay. So what's then to stop them? If this deal falls through, we're just going around and buying up a bunch of smaller companies. This company, that company, this company, that company, this company. And getting together a whole bunch of companies over time, and thus killing the third-party market for Sony and Nintendo. All the third-party companies are all bought up, or at least a lot of the big important third-party companies are bought up. You know, like 22 billion a piece or whatever. However, what was it, like 80 billion they're spending for Activision Blizzard? Yeah, we'll spend 20 here, we'll spend 20 there, we'll spend 20 there, couple of 10 billion, boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, half the gaming industry is under the Microsoft banner. I mean, they already own Bethesda. So, yeah, hello. Yeah, at least if they were owning Bethesda and owning Activision Blizzard, once they've done that, then the regulatory bodies will go, you're not doing anything else, Microsoft, because that's going to be a monopoly. Calm it down. And they'll have to, you know, because a lot of the regulatory authorities around the globe just will only wear something like that. And then, like, both like Sony and Nintendo could then like joint launch a court case going like, look, you can't go in everything, alright? That's just not on. And it wouldn't be on. So let's just say they, like, you know, they decide to start buying up everything. Yeah. What's to say they don't start getting really specific? You know? Let's say they didn't even decide to do that. What if they decided to take a whole bunch of those billions? Okay? Go up to Take-Two. Go up to Rockstar. I don't think I need to explain any further than that. If they decided to make Grand Theft Auto 6 an Xbox exclusive, that's it, it's game over. Because we all know that, like, gamers worldwide for the last 8, maybe 9 years, you know, have been thirsting hard for Grand Theft Auto 6, you know. We all blasted away through 5 on the PS3 and the Xbox 360. We played it again, you know, on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. We played it again on PC. We're playing it again on Xbox Series consoles and PlayStation 5. So, you know, it's this juggernaut that will not be stopped. it never leaves the NPD. It's just a permanent fixture. Do you really want that in Microsoft's only hands? I say let the baby have its bottle. Let Microsoft have Activision Blizzard, because at least if they own that and Bethesda, there's not much more they can do. They've locked themselves in. So yeah, it sucks that they'll own so much, but then they can't own any really much more of anything else. Fingers crossed. But I believe that to be the case. Now, since I've stated my case in that particular controversial thought, you're probably out there wondering what the secondary controversial thought would be. Well, this one is a little bit of an older discussion that's been bounced about the internet, often in jokey terms, although a lot of people don't get the joke, because people don't get jokes. And it's like, I am not a Dark Souls player. I am not a Bloodborne player. I tried Bloodborne when it came out. I got it on loan from a friend, and I just couldn't get down with it. It just wasn't for me. I wasn't feeling it, you know. Don't get me wrong. Wonderful game, beautifully presented, incredible lore, fantastic story, looks fantastic, you know, but it just wasn't for me. It wasn't Zen Bloke's jam, you know. Maybe it's your jam. Woohoo! Great, fantastic, enjoy. You know, if it sends your underpant elastic across the room, good on you. However, there are a lot of people who have jobs, kids, and wives, and other responsibilities, you know. Maybe they have like a parent that lives in their house with them that they're a carer for. Maybe they're in the TA, you know, maybe they're a scoutmaster, you know, or mistress, you know. There's any number of extracurricular activities that people do in their lives, like maybe they have a martial art or something, you know. And it's hard to spend all your time on everything, you know. You're only awake so much, and you've only got so much free time outside of your job, you know, and outside of the job of being a parent. Okay? So if you're like that, then do you really have the ability to invest time and effort into becoming so impossibly good that, like, you can play Dark Souls or Bloodborne, you know, that's what some people call a Soulsborne game, flawlessly and without trouble? No, you can't. You don't, because you know, the investment in existence of yourself, you know, just makes that impossible. If you've got so many things go on, it's not like you're a 15-year-old kid in his bedroom or her bedroom playing video games anymore. See, there's this old axiom in gaming, and you've seen it yourselves, I know you have, of like, when I grow up, I'm going to have enough money to buy all the games. Yeah, you have the money to buy the games, but do you have the time to play them like you used to? Because when you were a kid, you know, I mean, I'm not so sure about kids now, because my kid has access to my library on my PS4, sorry, and he just plays on my old PS4, so he's got access to crazy amounts of games. But growing up, I had like about maybe 4 or 5 games, you know, and I played the death out of those games. And you speak to any gamer that's like older than, say, 40, you know, somebody probably even about 30, and it's sort of like, when we were kids, you know, we didn't have that many games because games were expensive, the systems were expensive. In real terms, if you do the exchange rate sort of calculation for what a PlayStation cost then, and then you took that up to money now, oh my god, game systems are expensive. And even though or even take it to like the game systems that existed before the PlayStation, like you do stuff like the Panasonic 3D Reel, or the Atari Jaguar. Oh my god, the money that those things sold for then, if you turn that to modern day values, yeah, get ready to be surprised, shocked, and just technically blown away, because the money is crazy. So, time investment, life investment, money investment, these are things that gamers, similar to myself, although thankfully not me, have to deal with. I generally just tend to go through games at pace and just play them however I can, whenever I can, because I personally can't drop a level. But there's some people, that is how they play games. They play games at a lower level. They'll play on easy, they'll play on story. And I can feel itchy fingers out there at keyboards or bottom of screens on their phones go, "This is an outrage!" Yeah, I'm talking about having a story mode for Dark Souls and for Bloodborne. And people are like, but that takes the entire essence out of the game. It's about the struggle. It's about, getting beat down. It's about the get good, which is such a tired phrase. It's kind of toxic, really. Alright? I mean, yeah, you gotta get good at games to pass a game, but, it's sort of like, there's some people who, for that, that's not an option. There are disabled gamers who have less dexterity and, they have less ability to play these games. And there are people who just don't have the time, So, let people have a story mode for Soulsborne games. Who's it gonna hurt? Nobody. Just because you were out there, you were able to platinum Bloodborne. Fantastic! Well done you, sir or madam. Serious golf clap. You are obviously an awesome gamer. No one can take that away from you. No one wants to take that away from you. However, there are some people, as I've specified, who just don't have the time. Or some people who don't have the inclination to just absolutely fillet themselves on the altar of gaming, driving themselves half insane just to earn a trophy, just to get the next part of the story. For some gamers, all they care about is story. That's why, if you're playing an Assassin's Creed game, there's that level, the level select is like, tell me the story. You do that with God of War. You can do that with Dune. And if there's a game more foundational to modern gaming than Dune, I mean, come on. So, these games allow a story mode, allow players to be able to access the lore, the story, but still be part of the conversation. Yeah, maybe on the easy or / story mode, you won't get the platinum trophy. You won't get the special trophies that were there for this, that, and the other. You know what that means? That means that your platinum that you worked so hard for is even more special. It's even rarer. Because there's some people who played the game, and then there's people like you who played the game for your particular point of view. So, if people want an easy mode, then you know what that does? That sells more copies. Alright? Sells more copies of video games means more profit for the company. More profit from the company from a particular title means a greater willingness to invest in making another one. So then you get more. So then you could get a Bloodborne 2, or even more importantly for some of the Bloodborne community, a Bloodborne remaster. Up-resed, frame rates, proper sort of rumble functionality for the DualSense. Bring Bloodborne a proper full spec PS5 version. Now, if you want that kind of thing, then the best way for that to happen is for there to be more sales of Bloodborne. And if you want more sales of Bloodborne, then one of the easiest ways to get that is for more people to be able to feel like they can play it. So, even though I personally don't use easy modes, I understand their place in the market. And gaming happens in a capitalist system. And although I'm not entirely keen about all the aspects of capitalism, you have to admit one thing. It is effective, and it is what we live in, and it's how video games are sold, and how the makers of video games can have food and homes and families. Like you have food and home and families. But I know with both of these controversial opinions there's going to be much humming and hawing, much like, how dare he say that? Well, typey down below, let them bloke know. I would be very interested to read what you have to say, especially if you've got points to make that I've not thought about. Not just, you can't do that, it's just not right. I want to hear more than that. I want to get reasons, logic, definition, If you start a comment by saying, I'm a pony and that's why I want this, then you obviously weren't thinking about the Bloodborne question, because Bloodborne, that's just a Sony game. So that obviously doesn't stand. Anyway, hashtag support Scottish YouTubers, and of course, as always, aye, nae bother.